There you go.
Are we all set, Scott? There you go. All right, so I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome any and all public comments that anyone would like to make that are unrelated to our agenda. Seeing none, Scott, I'll go to you for the possible changes to the agenda.
Under other business, under action items, we're adding the approval of the annual highway financial plan. That's housekeeping.
Highway plan, okay. All right, that being said, we'll go to approving the minutes of March 5th, 2025. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, Charlie made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, a motion is second to approve the minutes of March 5th, 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Scott?
Reappointments.
Can we do this all in one motion, do you think?
I believe you can. Shall I read it?
Please do.
For reappointments for Energy Coordinator Bob Boyce, for Green Up Co-Chair Catherine Larson and Anthony Martino, for Wyndham County Solid Waste District Supervisory Board Merrill Mundell, for the Wyndham Regional Commission Representatives Bob Boyce and Ann Manwaring, for the Planning Commission Eric King, for DRB Diana Bate and Crystal Holt, for the Trails Committee Jeff Menges, for the Rec Sarah Molina, for DV Fiber Ann Manwaring and Gretchen Haverlock.
Okay.
So you had a few that chose not to be reappointed this year. You have the tree warden, Alan Baker for DV Fiber, and we've not heard from Julie Kohler for Trails.
So we've lost our fire warden?
Tree
Oh,
warden,
tree warden, okay. Who was the tree warden?
Doug Wheeler.
It's not even a tough job.
Go figure, right?
I'm a tree.
Okay, all right, I'm not gonna get into that. Okay. All right, so the ones that we do have here, so we're gonna have to fill in for the tree warden, is that correct?
Yeah.
Tree warden, all right. All right, so would somebody like to make a motion to appoint all of these folks that Scott just mentioned?
So moved as written and read.
Okey dokey, all right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion, and a second, to reappoint all those listed on our schedule here tonight. Scott's already read them in the record. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Scott?
Under action items, let's do the easy one first, approving the annual highway financial plan. You have it in front of you. It needs to be signed by all the representatives. And there's a breakdown, an estimated cost breakdown for our budget that Jessica and Marshall do every year. And you'll see for class 2 roads is 13.36 miles at $62,183 and change. For class 4, for class 3, it's 54 miles, 0.02, and that's 93,467. And so town tax funds is $1,848,092.97. And then it talks about surplus funds, permits and interest and grant income for a grand total of $2,051,594. You'll see down below where it talks about winter maintenance, non-winter maintenance and resurfacing. Those are broken out for you.
Okay. And again, this is housekeeping, right?
Yes.
All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the annual town highways financial plan.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
The motion is second to approve the annual financial town highway plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Marshall is here to ask the select board to possibly approve the quote from Renaud Brothers for the Green Road Bridge. replacement in the amount of $101,000, and he can explain the two bids to you. Quotes, I would say.
Hello.
Hello.
So we need a new bridge deck. It's only a deck, no headwalls. It's not so much the deck, and I know the picture's not very good because they come out black and white. But I can show you pictures after if you want on the phone. The beams, there's 5 I-beams under there. 3 of them right now you can stick your hand in through where they set on the head walls. We would like to replace it with a cement. This will be a concrete precast bridge set on top of the existing head walls that were redone once already. They've been inspected. There's nothing wrong with them. We talked to the river engineer. He likes the idea because right now, if you can imagine the bridge deck, the abutments have a 2-foot drop poured into them and the bridge sits down in them. This new bridge will go on top. We're actually going to be raising the whole road up around 18 inches. So there'll be more water clearance underneath the bridge to help with water flow. Not that this one's ever overflowed yet, but it helps with that. So he was happy with it. We don't need a permit from him. The big difference in the two prices of the bids, who we've worked with, and they've been around this area a long time. Renaud's is not going to do, the only thing they are doing is they have their own concrete form. They build their own bridges. They're going to come with a crane. They're going to set it. We have to raise the road. We have to supply the material. We have to do everything. Basin Brothers is we just help with some traffic control and signage, and that's it. They're going to come do the whole 9 yards, right to the blacktop. So that's the difference. We can save money by using the town's equipment, town's time, by having Renaud's do it. And actually Renaud's is a less pieces. Basin Brothers is a 4-piece bridge. They would set 4 slabs because they're going to use an excavator to set it. Instead of Renaud's will be, they're going to try to do one. It may end up being 2 pieces, but it's still less pieces, less problems down the road.
You worked with Renard, have you?
Renaud's is the one that's done our last 3 box culverts.
Yeah.
They've assisted us. They do great technical assistance with us. They'll help us if something goes wrong or something ain't right. They have a lot of equipment too. If for something went wrong last time for Eastover Bridge, they loaned us a pump to pump the water around. Not that we're going to have any of that, but they're really good to work with. Both companies are good to work with. I have no problems.
I would say the same thing. Those are 2 good companies.
Yeah. Basin Brothers is actually, they started that bridge in Reedsboro, so they're pretty busy too. Renaud's, when I was talking to the lady in the office, she believes there's no problem with scheduling this in May. Where if we did Basin Brothers, they're looking at July, August sometime because they're pretty busy. So that's another thing.
Well, I know Basin did the walk out here on that.
They're the ones that did.
Renaud they took down the bank building for us today at Easter Sunday, but I know you were too young. Yeah, you were kindergarten. So. But there was a number of things that they did. They also did the Williamsville Bridge here a couple of years ago.
Yep.
They did a fantastic job.
They that's the work they specialize.
That's what that's right. That's it. And Mike Renard's he's very good to deal with.
And just to put, so it's not a rumor, it's a surprise to you guys, he did sell. So as of July, it won't be, as what they tell me, as of July, it should be changed over to Daniels, the bridge company out of Springfield.
Really?
Yeah, he's retired. And
yeah, Mike's got some age on it.
yeah, so he's, from what they told me, is part of the sales is they guarantee all price work that they already previously quoted out, but this project should be all done before the sales final.
Okay.
So which one is selling? Renault?
Renaud's is selling, yes.
So if they're not done, then we have to deal with the new company.
Correct, if he dies, yeah.
Well, no, if they're not done with.
Yes, we deal with the new company. But so even if they sell all the office help is staying there, their business, they're gonna be a division of Daniels. Daniels is their company.
So just, I mean, I have a couple of questions.
Yep.
So on the Renault, this 33,000 for paving
Don't say it.
subcontracted?
That means when we send it out to bid, when we send our roads out to bid, we'll get a bid on the paving. It's subbed out as in we don't do paving ourselves,
Okay,
and they're not doing it either. Basin Brothers has that all included because they do paving.
okay, so that's my question. So the payment is included. with
Yeah,
the other- okay.
in Basins, everything is 100% included.
So do we know if we do the work ourselves, the prep work, and everything, what our cost is?
It's in there. The gravel's in there.
I mean, our labor and stuff, for us to use our.
Our equipment, so we're looking at, it's gonna be 2 days. A little bit time before and a little time after. So do I have an exact number? No,
But we're not taking away from other work.
we won't be taking away from other work.
It's all planned.
We need a motion to approve this.
We certainly do.
I make a motion, we approve the Renaud Brothers project for the Green Road Bridge of $146,000.
100.
101?
Well, no, that's fine. You can do it that way. That's
Yeah,
fine. That's fine.
either way is fine.
All right. You want to state that again, Tony?
Sure, I make a motion, we approve the Renaud Brothers 101,000 installation of the new bridge deck
Okay.
as presented.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, you have motion second to approve the Renault's quote for the Green River Bridge, or Green Road Bridge, in the amount of $101,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's gonna work. That'll work. I'm shocked that Mike is retiring finally, though, huh?
Yeah, it's. Everybody's getting up their age and they're having health problems, spine,
Yeah.
like in every business.
Going to be a good move for us.
What's that?
Is Daniels going to be a good move for us?
More money when you go out to bid, again, for the same project, it'd be a little bit more money, they're a little bit.
They were your Look Road Bridge group.
But you still have basins, so that's good. You said Zaluzny didn't quote?
Zulus, I asked, but there ain't enough work there for him, because again, the thing that Renaud's like, is he does concrete work.
Right.
He's building the thing, any of these Zulus, Basin Brothers, they have to go to somebody and ask him to build this. Renaud's has an engineer, they have the forms, they do all this, so it's easier for them. Where Basin Brothers, they really want to sell the construction work, not so much the cement work.
Yeah. All right, Scott?
Now, the select board to possibly approve the expenditure of the old firehouse roof repair from Walker Roof in the amount of $43,540. You may remember that we did a lot of work in 2023. We received quotes in December of 2022, so we could establish our budgets and capital fund. It was just too much to do both sides of the old firehouse, so we delayed. And the quote that came in December of 2022 was $38,916. So a couple of years later, it's gone up 12%, and the price will increase again in April. So we'd like to lock in at $43,540. Walker Industries is Reed and Company, and they're willing to hold this price if we can lock in, and they can buy the materials now. And so this will finish all the roofing on the old firehouse. So the total price is $43,540.
Any questions, folks?
It's amazing the price of rubber roofing.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
Crazy.
Of any roofing, actually.
All right, so with that in mind, would someone like to make a motion?
I move to approve the expenditure for the old firehouse roof repair from Walker Roof in the amount of $43,540.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the expenditure for the old firehouse roof repair from Walker Roofing in the amount of $43,540. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Scott?
Under the 1% local option tax request, Corey Ross is with us on Zoom. And the select board to possibly approve a request for the greeter program, an amount of $3,500. And I'll let Corey speak to that.
Thanks, Scott. Good to see everyone tonight. We're requesting the same funding that was awarded last year. So it'll be a continuation of this program as it was constructed the past year. We won't know the state's contribution to the program for a few more weeks, but we can estimate it based on the formula they use. They contribute a set percentage, and then they expect a certain amount to be raised locally. So that's where the town's contribution and the contribution by the Lake Waponda Environmental Foundation comes in. The foundation has pledged $5,000 to continue the program, and the Lake Waponda Association will continue to contribute volunteer greeters, as well as assistance with coordination of greeters, some local site supervision, and Bob Boyce will be serving that role, and he's here by Zoom as well. I'm happy to entertain questions.
We always include what's not included here is we pay for the outhouse.
Yes, we appreciate that.
Make a motion, we approve the application for the 1% local option tax fund for $4,100.
All right, do we have a second?
I think it's 30
Second.
seconds.
I'm sorry, 3,500.
A
Well-
second, good. There you go.
Wanna rephrase?
The toilet is 600.
Isn't that extra to be included?
You don't have to. I mean, it's up to you. Either way, we're going to pay for it one way or the other.
So we should approve the $4,100.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's the motion.
Okay, I second the motion.
All right, we're gonna include the 4,100 because we're gonna include the porta potty. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
I think we've never done it this way, but that's all right. All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second to approve a request from the greeter program in the amount of $3,500 for them and $600 on behalf of the town of Wilmington for the use or the rent of the porta potty. All those in favor say
Can
aye.
I ask a question before we?
Already
take the
here.
vote? Scott, would the additional $600 come out of the 1% if we didn't vote on it now, or would it come out of something else?
No, you corrected me properly.
Okay.
We would have to take it out someplace else if you didn't include it in one.
So it's included in the 1%?
Yes, I think
Thank
that's
you,
the
Steve.
best, that's the
Thank
best
you.
way to do it. Thank you.
All right, do we have a second?
We have.
Oh, we did. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Scott, town policies?
Christine will walk us through the 3 policies that we've been working on.
Sounds thrilled.
She likes to do this for us.
I take that was this one of the requirements from our wonderful auditor?
This was one of the things that the auditors had requested, was that we do certain policies.
Right.
And these were the first ones Scott and I started working on.
Okay, all right.
So there's the fraud prevention policy, which is really just a way for letting everybody know that who they should contact if they feel that there's anything that has been done fraudulently. I'm assuming you've all read the policy, so I'm not going to read the whole thing again. The credit card policy, we do have several department heads and a few employees that do have a credit card for purchasing certain items. So it's another one that it's good to have to really outline how people should be using those credit cards, what they should do if there's any issues or if they're leaving. And then the last one that we worked on, which is the biggest one, is the purchasing policy. This one took a lot of work to try to mesh in with what we currently are doing, trying to follow the
Federal grant guidelines.
federal grant guidelines and some of the template wording that we were given from VLCT, and still trying to make it so that it would give us enough leeway for certain situations so that we're not tied down completely. One of the things that came up was we were talking about like how you have to go out to bid for things and what you do for bidding, and you can't always get 3 bids. So we tried to put language in there for that. And then there was also a dollar amount that was tied to that, and we wanted to make sure that, like when purchasing a truck, same thing, it's hard to get 3 bids. Sometimes we just have to talk to 1 or 2 suppliers because that's all you can find. So anyway, we talked with department heads, and I think everybody, when we got finished, felt pretty comfortable that it's following what we need to follow, and it's still giving a little bit of that options for when things are hard to come up with.
All right, anyone have any questions? We don't have a policy here at this point, purchasing policy. Is that correct?
The purchasing policy that we have had up to this point, or that we have used as a purchasing policy, was actually originally created for grants. And it's about 2 lines or 2 paragraphs.
It's a page, yeah.
Basically, it was basically really, if it was over a $10,000 purchase, you had to go out to bid, or you had to get quotes.
Okay, all right.
So it was really not covering everything that it should have been covering. So this one really gets into a lot more detail and helps a lot, especially like I said, with federal grants and stuff too, because
Right.
there's a lot of very specific guidelines that you're supposed to follow for grants.
And I'm certain with our new auditor, he's going to point that out too, that we weren't specific enough, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. The girl who's actually been doing our audit didn't make it this year to come down, and she had COVID. She was pregnant. She's actually, I think, just had her baby, so she just barely was trying to finish our audit before she went on maternity leave. And I feel like they're short-staffed.
Really?
Yeah, well, when you think about how many towns got flooded and probably have over $750,000 in expenses in the last 2 years, and the number of single audits that they're probably having to do,
Quite a few.
I imagine they're very short-staffed for the amount of work that they're trying to get done. But yes, this should help.
I'm not trying to be facetious, so I'm just saying that all of a sudden we're putting these policies in effect so we can satisfy the auditor.
Well, that's a big part of it, yes, but the other part of it too is that they are, it is the way for the town to have in writing what we are doing, so that if Scott's not here, or I'm not here, or Marcia's not here, or, you know, all of us who've been doing this for a while, if somebody's not here, we can say, this is what we are supposed to be doing. So it's a way to keep things consistent.
You don't see anything in there that's going to be a barrier to having things approved.
And
Right.
that's like I said, we were trying to make sure that when we did the wording, that it was structured enough, but still open enough, so that if you can't get 3 bids or
Okay, all right.
whatever, we try to make sure that that's in there. I think we've got it well covered. So
All right.
there is
There's
that option.
room for discussion. Where there isn't discussion, it's typically with some of these federal grants that are over $250,000, which we have a few. And the bottom line is that if our policy doesn't cover it, there's a line in there that basically says follow state and federal regulations on grant work. So I think we have enough in there to capture everything that we do. It still give us some discretion because it's not always possible to get the bids or the quotes that we want. But like Marshall, he worked hard to try to get us 3, but and some of it has to do with how many vendors that are reliable in the area as well when you start talking about some of these projects. So, where do we buy the truck? Where do we get service? How far out should we go to pursue service, particularly during the warranty period and things like that? So it's a challenge in this geographical area sometimes.
Everything is.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? Somebody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the fraud policy, the credit card policy, and the purchasing policy.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second to approve the fraud, credit card, and purchasing policies. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Scott?
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm gonna move now to go into the sewer commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Scott?
John usually does this. Don't ask me any real deep questions. We'll have him back again for the final approval. The current allocation for Rob Marzelli, this is at 35 and 37 West Main Street that he owns. He has a building up behind his main building that he wants to connect to the sewer. He's asking for allocation for 2 additional bedrooms. So currently he has one 2-bedroom apartment at 280 gallons. He has a store and retail space with 3 employees at 45 gallons. He used to have a fitness center with participants and he had 40 gallons, so he'll get that back. And the total allocation is 365 gallons per day. That allocation will jump to 605 gallons per day. And the allocation fee for the additional 40 gallons is $2,400. He'll have to pay an initial upfront fee. Rob will be required to pay 25% or $600 within 30 days of the preliminary approval. He then has 3 months to get his state and local permits, and he'll come back to us to seek final approval. After final approval, he has 6 months, or when the new usage begins, whichever comes first, to pay the remaining allocation fee of $1,800. At that time, he also begins paying sewer rent on the new usage. He also will need a new connection permit from us after he gets his state of Vermont water and wastewater permit. And due to the difficulty in getting to our sewer main, we'll be allowing him to connect to his existing sewer in the main building. Rob has Merrill Mundell as his engineer, and John has been working with both Rob and Merrill on this project.
All right. And again, this is the preliminary yet, okay? This isn't the final.
Right.
All right. Anyone have any questions?
So he's just adding an extra employee?
No, he's adding 2 bedrooms.
No, for the bedrooms, got it.
To the
Okay, yeah.
retail space, he's adding an extra employee.
Yeah,
All right. So, no other questions. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Motion to approve the application for wastewater treatment allocation of 240 gallons to Rob Marzelli, 3537 West Main Street.
Very good. It's quite a ways around there, Tony. All right, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion and a second to approve a preliminary application for Rob Marzelli at 35 West Main Street for a 2-bedroom house at 240 gallons per day. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, I move that we come out of the sewer commission.
I just need Tom's signature there.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
There.
Gretchen and Tim are here under economic development. Select Board to review new banner design recommendations.
Okay. Thank you all for allowing me to come and talk to you about my 3 slides.
It's not a
So-
PowerPoint presentation,
No,
correct? Oh,
no,
thank
it's
you.
not.
Thank you.
You have to see it
It's
in
a
color.
PDF. Is this on?
It is.
Okay.
You can pull up closer if you want.
So Tim is also here, and maybe Tim, do you want to take the lead here, or would you like me to?
Oh, I can. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right.
Grooming.
Yeah, I'm on the mountain, sorry. So the goal here, and this was budgeted in the budget that we sent to you guys last November and was approved, So this is just trying to take action on that line item to replace the pole banners in town, in both towns, actually. So, these were the ones you can see on the screen are the multicolored ones that went up in 2022. And those have kind of lived out their lifespan. They were 2 to 3 year vinyl. And so we're going on 3 years now. And some of them you can definitely see that they're starting to fade. So I just want to make it clear that like the ones that are on the screen would be the ones that are getting replaced. The ones that Wilmington Works has been working on are still pretty new, and those are in the downtown area and won't be changing. So Gretchen, if you want to go to the next slide. So the idea was to take kind of a seasonal approach this time around. That's worked really good for those banners in the downtown area. And then Dover has some of their own seasonal ones. So we kind of took the same color scheme out of those and wanted to put up 3 different banners that would represent those different seasons throughout the year. So whenever people would visit, Vermont and the Deerfield Valley, they'd see these different colors and get kind of reminded like, oh, even though it's winter, they have summer or they have fall. And so just kind of a reminder to everybody about all those different seasons. Next slide.
We're out of slides.
Maybe. Are we out of slides?
No, we're not. There it goes.
It's just slow. All right.
Yeah, just slow.
So in Wilmington specifically, this is just an example for the summertime. So during the summer, outside of the downtown, you would be able to see those 3 new banners that would represent all 3 seasons that we would be putting up, and those would stay up year round. And that's what we're talking about tonight. And then the other 3 are what Wilmington Works has already done for the downtown area and changes out seasonally. So those kind of bring you into the summer, while the other 3, remind you of all of the seasons that we have here. So that's kind of the general idea, but you can see that we did, we're very specific in the color choice that we chose. So, the green for the summertime in these new banners is going to match those that Wilmington Works did for the summer. And then, same thing with the fall, it'll be that same kind of burgundy red color and the darker blue for wintertime. So I think, is that all the slides, Gretchen, or was there one
No,
more?
we have one more. We were just going to talk about Dover a little bit.
Yep.
But of course it's like taking it. Oh, there we go.
That's right. And so Dover would have something similar. The only question with Dover that I'll be talking with them shortly is just a little bit of decision making on what the font is going to be up at the top. And really not the font itself. They have a guideline that they approved last year, similar to what you guys did, but we're just going to be talking about whether it should be capitalized and with the Vermont or not. So that might be the only change there with the Dover ones. But again, for them, they'll have those 3 new ones that are on the top row up year round. And then the bottom 3 would be the seasonal rotation that would come in and out. And again, you can kind of see here how we, chose the colors based on what those existing seasonal banners already look like. So that is it. Do you guys have any questions for us or any comments on it?
So the parking sign for Wilmington, that is not seasonal, I would assume?
That one, we do have that does change out seasonally, and that's already done. So that was one part of the Wilmington Works set. So, it's basically the same exact design, but it'll go up in that blue for the winter time and the red in the fall. I believe there's only one of those right at the corner of 109, right in the center of town, pointing people, down towards the parking lot, like across from 19 South Main there.
So we're putting the sign all the way at 109, but the parking isn't.
No, it's right here in the corner.
Oh,
It's there
okay.
now.
It's right here on Route 9 and the
I
corner
thought you
of Route
said
9 and South
109, which
Main.
is down there. Okay.
No,
Gotcha, okay.
Therese?
So just a comment regarding that, I just feel like there's a disconnect in that by changing that color. Anywhere you go and you pick out what the parking sign is and you make the turn and go, you're looking for that same colored sign for the parking lot. So I just feel like the blue kind of creates a disconnect because the sign at the actual parking lot is green. So just something to think about.
Interesting. And again, those ones are already done and have been in rotation now for about a year and a half. So they have changed out 5 different times so far. I haven't heard that feedback from anybody, but definitely something that we can keep in mind, you know, next time those ones are going to change.
So you just need our opinion, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just a consensus. We just felt
Sure.
that it was really important to bring this
I
before both select boards
think they
because.
look good. They look good.
Good, I'm glad
We
that you
don't have
like
the
them.
one with the spot on it. I'll never get over that one. What the hell?
Oh, that
You
we are here.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, you are here, right? Yeah.
look like a medical test, but anyway, that's all right.
That was eons ago.
No, not that long ago.
So we've
He
reviewed.
was actually out of high school by then.
So which, just go back to the one we're going to see.
It's-
That's still where I am.
So it's these and these.
Are we ever gonna do those bears again?
I'm sorry,
Are we ever going to do those bears again?
what banners?
Really?
That was a long, that was
That wasn't one of them.
Adam Granal, the
That
chamber
was-
president.
That was a Chamber of Commerce.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
That was
But
a hell of
still,
a
excellent.
razor. It
Yeah,
was.
It was an excellent.
Everybody painted the bear themselves.
I
It's
Sorry,
similar
I'm-
to Bennington's moose that they used to have, and then someplace.
They did catamounts. over
Somebody
there, too,
did
didn't they?
cat-
That was a
something.
chamber.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
a chamber
That was a chamber thing,
initiative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That was an excellent program. Certainly better than the spot, no offense.
right. I didn't come up with the spot thing.
That's good.
That was before
That's very,
BG, before.
What about the saw blades?
that was
Mm.
interesting.
And the windows.
The Vermonsters that they came up with was,
that was desperation. That's what
that
that
was
was.
disgusting.
Yeah.
So we don't need a motion. We just need to thank you for coming. Is that correct?
We have, it sounds like we
Yeah,
have
if
general
you have
consent.
We have a general consensus. Anybody against this? I guess maybe
Yeah, that's what.
anybody like to voice their displeasure?
It's like we're in business.
I think
Thank you
Tom
for
would like a
coming.
PowerPoint presentation next time.
Never again.
Thank you,
I do
Tim.
not want PowerPoints.
Tim, get back,
Thank you, guys.
Good,
Thanks,
thank you.
Tim.
don't
I
crash.
gotta get back to work. I will, Charlie. Thank you, guys. See you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen.
All right, I'm going to move now to go into the Liquor Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are now with the Liquor Commission, Scott.
A second-class renewal for Ratu's Liquor and Market, Brockton Corp. doing business as Shaw's, and Walgreens Eastern Company Incorporated. A first and third-class renewal for the Dairy Bar Incorporated doing business as Dot's Restaurant, and a first and third-class and outside consumption renewal for Tim Tam LLC, doing business as Alpen Glow, La Casita Pipe Dream LLC, doing business as The Anchor, and WHVT Hotel LLC, doing business as The White House, L&S Incorporated, doing business as North Star Bowl, and 19 South Main Street Restaurant.
All right, and I take it that the chief reviewed all of these, correct, Scott?
He did.
He did, okay. All right, anybody like to make a motion? I think we could do it all in one.
I'd like to make a motion to approve everything as presented.
As written in red.
Written in red.
Okay, it's written
Second.
on the Liquor Commission, that all these renewals. We have a second, motion a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Other business, Scott.
We have a request to have an overview of the regional select board meeting update. I believe Charlie might lead us in that.
So I went to this regional select board meeting update. It was pretty much all the towns in Wyndham County, some towns from Bennington County, the Wyndham Regional Commission, VLTC, and BDCC. And it was mostly just to welcome new select board members and a discussion about issues people have. So one of the things that came up a lot is how nowadays that every town is going through the same budget. I'd say smaller towns are going through a budget crisis where they're having increasing capital for bridge replacement, stuff like that, and they have to find ways to, I'm not sure the wordage here, but to reduce other budget costs. And one of the things that came up is sharing with other towns. And I guess the question is for Marshall is, what resources do we currently share with other towns?
You gotta be a little more specific than when you say share.
Well,
He's not looking for all your trade secrets.
yeah, exactly.
No,
Copay on.
The informal arrangements that you have with
material.
other towns.
So we'll start with material. We don't share material, if that's what you're referring to, unless, so a good example would be this winter salt. We thought we were down to our last 1 ton load of salt. We didn't know if we were gonna have any, couldn't get any. Dover happened to get a bunch just before the shortage. I did call him. He was willing to let me borrow a load. I won't say give me a load, but borrow a load if I returned it. It happened to be, we got our salt just in the nick of time, didn't need to. Some of the other things that we do is, last year is a good example, East Dover Road, we milled that road when we paved it, we had milling, so to save us money, so we're not hiring trucks, and town already buys us nice new trucks. We have to haul the millings away from them. We don't have enough trucks by ourselves to keep up with them, with the company. So we either have to pay to have trucks there, or Dover supplied a couple of their trucks. And when they mill, if they need help, we swap, and it's informal. There's nothing.
Okay, yeah, so they were talking about how, like, for instance, Dover needed to buy a hydro seeder and they bought it with Newfane.
Yep.
A lot of the towns are sharing transfer stations.
Yep.
So as a way to keep costs down, they were talking about very complicated. The gentleman from Townshend who owns the plowing company, he's on the select board as well. He was on the select board for like 20 years. He owns that plow company. I'm sitting next to him, plow truck company, VTR or something like that.
In Townsend?
Maybe in a town in Vermont.
Oh, Townsend. I don't know.
I thought it was Townsend, but
No.
he was talking about the same issues on salt and sand, is that to keep costs down, their town is exploring buying salt and sand and SurePack with other towns to get it in mass quantities to eliminate the trucking.
To try to cut down on the cost.
Correct.
So Wyndham Regional is actually working on that also right now to do.
Yep.
Franklin County does it, down in Mass. They put out like towns get together and they say, well, we need this much gravel, blah, blah, blah. They bulk it together to try to get a better price. The problem is with some of that is Dover actually has more trucks than us. They haul a lot of their own material. We haul material when we're on a slower time. Our trucks hauled today, have hauled yesterday to save cost, but to take material from one another, it don't work unless we're replacing it, because we a lot of times pay to have it trucked into our yard and we truck it out of our yard. Where they have more guys, and there's usually, they have guys, a couple guys around all year long, they truck nonstop, that's all they do. So that's some of the problems with that. Don't know. We definitely, the hydro seeder thing, the town split, we have a hydro seeder, we got it paid for by a grant. They bought a lot bigger one, it cost 3 times the price of ours, that's why they put 2 grants together to get theirs. They didn't pay for theirs either. But to get a bigger one, they used it together, where we just bought a smaller one for us.
So I guess the question is maybe the select board, if to start the discussion, is there any resources that you would see that we could share with other towns? Like, would the transfer station,
I would love for you to share the transfer station with Dover. We'll send it to Dover. They just raised all their fees. I just sent Jessica the new fee permits. Their prices are, most of them are cheaper than ours.
Actually, no. Their new prices aren't.
Their mattresses are, but they're just catching up to the rest of them.
They're just.
Mattresses are more in tires than me, but a lot of the stuff, their bags, senior bags are cheaper than us and everything. So I'd love to see it all go to them.
And they would love to see it come to us.
What's that?
It's open more often.
They're open, yeah, that's another thing was, so we can't justify to be open 5 days a week. Dover's is open 5 days a week. If somehow we could contribute to them a little bit and they could use our dump, I think it'd help them, or they could use their dump, their transfer station. Our transfer station's on the other end of the town now. What's the difference if they drive up East Dover Road instead of up to the end of Higley Hill to Marlboro? But that's a conversation you have to have with this, their side.
Their landfill is quite nice, the way it's set up.
It very is. They have
very advanced. All right, ours was kind of scattered the way it was there on Miller Road. Unfortunately, we filled up one section of it years ago. We should have never done it the way we did, but that's past select boards, I guess.
I think based on informal conversation at this meeting, that we should consider opening the conversations with Dover. I'm not sure what you guys feel about it, but you know.
The transfer station is definitely a money cost to this town. I don't know. I pay to have my rubbish taken away. So I think they're open enough that I would think they would like if we contributed to them a little bit and they get our tipping fees and everything, that maybe it would help them a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know how that would work out, but the salary alone, payroll.
You're saying the distance is not any further than what we're doing now?
It's pretty close.
It's got to be very close, because we're at the end of our town and we're on Marlboro just about. Our property line is Marlboro.
Yeah.
And they're at the end of East Dover Road. You go up the road half a mile, I think. Is roughly what it is.
I think they're a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Oh, so
distance wouldn't be a
the
problem.
distance is not an issue. And they got a blacktop road all the way to their transfer station.
Yep.
It's all blacktop.
Well, I think
You're making us look bad now, you know.
Dover don't say no to money, so
They don't want.
they like to spend it. They're not afraid to dish it out on their stuff.
They have a very,
They
it's
do.
it's very admirable.
And I'm not saying you guys are bad about it either. I'm just saying.
Well, I think there's also some items that people are already bringing to Dover, like TVs.
Yeah, that's the other
Well,
thing.
that's the only place we can go. Is it
Yeah,
right?
what do they call it?
E-waste.
E-waste.
E-waste. They're an e-waste place.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would also get us out of our Wyndham solid waste contract if we don't have because that's $16,000, $10,000 that we paid this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's
So I don't know if we don't have a transfer station, if we have to pay that anymore.
Well, we have a contract now, Scott, do we not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, but, I mean, it's one thing to move to another company. It's another thing just to say we want to complete the contract. There might be a buyout to it. I can't remember.
And if it's Casella, so is Casella gonna be?
Is Casella up there anyhow?
He must be.
Casella's the only one.
Yeah. he's
So
gotta be
it's
only
the same
getting down.
company. They would still be getting our trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a Wyndham solid waste district. I don't think we have to be part of that.
No, I don't know. I mean, that's
You're right,
something
that'd
we'd
be
have to
some-
look into.
That's a whole separate thing.
But yes, we're in the middle of a contract with Casella, but I mean, if all we're doing is moving the trash, I would
Yeah,
imagine
okay.
that they would still benefit
And
regardless.
it wouldn't happen overnight anyways.
Right.
And it's a 5-year contract where.
It's an interesting place to
Second,
start,
third year.
though, if you wanted to have that conversation.
I know, we've tried, if you recall, we've tried to do the fire department, the police department, we've done it, and that fell flat on its face too. So,
I just,
but the trash is a good place to start. I'm very serious. That's what we all need that.
you know, again, they pay a full-time employee. I don't know how we could, you know, I'm sure they're not.
What days are they open?
Every day but Tuesday?
Tuesday, Thursday, they're closed. Sunday's a half day.
So it's very, okay, so it's similar to us.
So
Alright.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, half day.
5 days. Worth it.
That would certainly be something to look into. Okay, because we've talked about trash a lot. And the expense, it's not gonna get any cheaper. We know
No. Well, that's,
that.
no matter where you go.
Just don't ask them to use their hook and ladder fire truck, that's all.
Don't forget Randy's on.
That's all right. He was part of the conversations that we've had before. That just wasn't gonna work. We were gonna do that for Barnes and obviously the Hermitage. He was gonna put the 2 hotels in up at the mountain, and we needed a ladder truck, and that wasn't gonna work. So,
How many contacts, do you remember how many contacts you averaged in a week when you did the count? Was it 600?
No, must be 400
A week?
a week.
Roughly.
what, for our landfill?
Yeah.
Okay, they did a count this last year.
Roughly, yeah. Not having the numbers in front of me. And that was a vehicle count using Matt's little signs. So that was with the people driving by
Okay.
And the speed.
and the speed, yeah. And actually, believe it or not, they're probably going faster than they should, but they don't go as fast as you think.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
So yeah, that's all I had from the meeting. Just wanted to share with you guys. It was informational and a lot of people there. It's interesting to find the other smaller towns, you know, what they have to really jump through hoops to figure out how to
Oh,
keep the, you know, one town was talking about how they have to they have a lot of residents that have no service, no cell phone service near them. And how do they know if there's an emergency to get to that person's house? And, you know, so they're just like trying to figure out how to take it offline. It's crazy.
that's a huge problem.
Yep.
And we run into the same thing, even dealing with the state, and I'm going to bring it on the state because so many things that you have to apply to the state for, whether it be renewing your registration to your vehicle, your driver's license, any notary publics doing the Office of Professional Regulation. We used to use the court, so the court was perfect. Bing, bang, boom, you paid your money, and that's, now you still pay your money with these folks, but there's all kinds of hoops to go through at the same time. And it becomes a real problem after a while. It discourages you to want to continue on to do these things with them. So it's, you know, the state isn't exactly user-friendly, let's put it that way.
I will say, there is tools that we do use at Dover, as Dover uses ours, like our pavement cutter. We don't have a pavement cutter. Dover has this big walk behind, nice, beautiful thing. We borrow it whenever we cut pavement. We don't have one. There's things they borrow from us. We do share that way. It's something we're only going to use once a year. Somebody else has it. We do try to share things, like we don't want to go buy something. This year when we were paving, our skid steer broke down while we were trying to clean up the blacktop. Travis was quick to offer one of theirs, because we also had the paving shoulder machine that we only had for a short amount of time. He was quick to offer ours. We got ours fixed right away, so it wasn't a big deal. I'm just saying, we do, amongst towns, do share
Yeah.
some of that stuff.
And you're sharing information at your foreman's meeting.
Right.
With regard to prices and where everyone's getting
Yeah,
material and things like that, right?
yeah, so, yeah, and some of it comes down to some towns haul a lot of the material themselves. Some towns have it all trucked in, because if you're trucking material, that's time you're not working. You're not overly saving a lot of money, but you are saving it when you truck it yourself. But that means that guy or those couple guys are not doing nothing but trucking material. And the closest place we can go and get material is Bradley, and right now that's a 2-hour round trip, because it's actually in Bradley. So they only get 5 loads a day this time of year, a piece, which don't cover very much of anything. But on a rainy day when we can't be out grading roads because it's raining, the guys will go haul material that day. It's a rainy day project. They can sit in the seat of the truck and drive in the rain. You can always do that much.
Thank you.
Well,
Are you looking for board approval to approach Dover? Is that what you're looking for?
I think there's a general consensus that we
Yeah.
should at least have conversation with them. I don't think we need a motion.
No, Charlie needs your general consent.
What
to
do you
approach.
think? What do you think, folks? I mean, if we can buy in bulk, why not, right? I don't know about the landfill. I'm not sure Dover would accept us. I guess maybe that's the problem too, you know. But I certainly don't want to lose the electronics disposal that Dover has now either. I mean, that's where I drop all of mine. It's been fantastic. No question, boom, pull it in, they've taken away, so it's been good. But I will have to say, without a doubt, they're much more high tech up there than
they got the newest, they got the nicer facility. They definitely have a nice place for it. Their permit fees, as far as that goes, is not. Some stuff is, their senior prices, not picking on the town, would be cheaper for you.
Hey, I have a good view where I am now. I have a good view where I am right now. I like.
So the solid waste charges you $60 annually to come through the door.
Annual, that's it?
Plus all the tipping fees.
Okay.
$60.
We're at 15 and 20.
Yeah. Dover's at 20 and 10. They just started April 1st.
Well, we have to kick our permits up too. It's ridiculous. I think we're at $15 now.
No, ours, you're senior, so yeah, you're 15.
Not that he's rubbing that in.
Yeah, I was gonna open up.
Why just Tom?
He's only mentioned
Why
it
are you
three
picking
or
on
four
just
I was
Tom?
gonna give this story.
No offense to you guys over here, but
Just a-
there's more than one.
Mine's 15, that's all I
These
know.
guys don't pick on-
Oh, well, okay.
At least someone gives it to him.
Okay, all right. All right, so Scott, I guess we're on to the next matter here.
Select board comments.
Select board comments. Any comments, John?
None.
None? Tony?
No, sir, thank you, sir.
Oh, wow. Vince?
Nope.
Hey, you saw a bear up on Handle Road?
Yep.
That's
Good
not-
sized bear.
That's not
Sure it
good.
wasn't one of the ones from the chamber thing we were talking about?
No, this one was moving.
Oh, wow,
We're
okay.
out already. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Charlie, anything?
No, but Jessica, just so you're aware, the VLTC did say at this same meeting that the new select board training that's on the in March, right? Or no, April, that they will be recorded and they'll share it to everyone. So,
Yeah, they said that they'd record it, but it wouldn't necessarily be available to those that didn't attend. Whatever that.
What is that?
Didn't register.
What the hell's
So
that?
John LeBron did register, so he will get a link if he chooses to share a recording with you. You can ask John.
Well,
I'll buy it after it's done.
I know, I'll tell you right now, I will tell you right now, the class is very good. It's very good. And there's a number of things in there, all of a sudden you never knew. And they do a good job at that.
Is this
But
in
that's-
Fairleigh? Is this one in Fairleigh?
This is what they used to have this one in Montpelier. In fact, it used to be on a
It's
Saturday.
Montpelier. and
It
Joe.
is still on a Saturday.
It was Saturday, yeah. So it was, the information was good. All the different departments from the VLCT would come up, legal department, claim department, everybody was there. and kind of bring you through. And I will say this, because of the rules, the open law, everything changing so much, so fast. In fact, there's going to be a change in the ethics. Did you see that? Even though the ethics committee told the legislature not to do what they did it anyway. Okay, so it's just making it more and more difficult, I think, and you want to be aware of this stuff. There's always a couple little tidbits that they'll throw in, and people will give you some examples of what's happened in their communities. And, you know, actually, when you listen to other communities, we feel pretty good here. We feel pretty darn good here. It's very hard in some of these areas to function. But anyway, I thought the class was great. If they ever say you're going to have a podcast or whatever it is, don't bother. That's the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. The LCT is the worst for that. The attorney sits there and he reads it to you. You're going, oh my God, hang me now. You know, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. He doesn't give you an example. He doesn't give you anything.
If you had that over a PowerPoint, which one would you take?
Oh, no, shit. The PowerPoint. No,
It's
no,
the
no.
same thing.
The PowerPoint is so yesterday. My God, you don't need that at all. Right? Think about it.
No, but that's why pictures are good, Tom. Pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
No
you
words,
picture
just
that.
pictures.
Drawings.
Yeah. It's amazing. And everyone thinks that's such a great way to go, too. I guess it's like that crowd that stands over at the bridge now protesting. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a crew that is, huh?
Oh, they're standing here in the center of town.
I mean, there's about 6 or 7 of them I saw this Saturday that they should go over to Covey and Allen and get themselves an estimate, because they don't have a lot of protesting left in their life.
You getting all this?
But I guarantee that none of them were from
It's
here.
all recorded.
No.
Still recording.
All right, yes. I hope somebody's listening. Chris listens to this. Don't you, Chris? Okay? All right, anyway. I don't have any comments either. All right, so Scott, we're going to get down to the town manager updates.
Covey Allen again.
Well, you know.
You should do stand-up, man.
Well, no, my brother died. My brother died here 2 weeks ago. And we were at the big church, St. Patrick's and the whole thing, whatever. This guy in front of us who was handling the body, and it was a large body, looked just like Popeye. So I was sitting in the front pew and I had my other 4 brothers with me, and I just saw 3 brothers. And I said, Jesus Christ, he looks like Popeye. Maybe we ought to get him an estimate. And so my older brother just burst out laughing. Okay. And this is, he died of brain cancer. It was look, 6 weeks. They diagnosed him 6 weeks later, he was dead. And oh man, it was really, that's the first brother I've lost. That's all I have. I don't have these sisters. So maybe they already died, but not for us. Anyway, so you leave it like that, and that's where we're at. Do I think I need more coffee here or no? Okay.
Well, you're done with your comments.
All right, I don't have any comments. Okay, I didn't have to live with them. Yeah?
On Chimney Hill, we had some high water from snowmelt and rain. We call it high water. And Marshall and his staff were working because of that especially heavy rain on Sunday night and into Monday. Resulted in damage up on Chimney Hill. That's the primary area that we had damage because of the steep hill. Marshall took me up today to take a look, and we trucked in about 10 loads of gravel on Monday and another 10 loads today, give or take, I would imagine. So there was damage to the pavement. Some of that is paved up there, and also on some of the edging of the road, pretty much. And we're looking at a section of road that contributed to some of our damage, and Marshall's working on coming up with a plan. It's partly Chimney Hill, partly private, but it impacted us, so he's going to try to work on a plan to help mitigate some of it in the future. 2 Chimney Hills. And in terms of legal, We talked about 43 Stearns Way, Elizabeth Lacombe Revocable Trust. We had, I think I told you before, we do have a docket number. There's a status hearing tomorrow on this appeal. And the town attorney will handle. Ms. Lacombe filed for a motion for default judgment, and Ed will simply ask the judge to dismiss it tomorrow because no answer is required to be filed. So,
Is this from assessments?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Have any of them
From
been decided at all? No, okay.
I had one other thing, but I can't quite remember what it was, and I don't have it written down.
Any other major damage to roads?
No major, just some edging on places. Chimney Hill took the worst, they had the most snow still. And apparently it rained a little bit harder up there.
And mud season has begun.
Yes, mud season is here.
Did you get any grief when you were fixing the place up there?
Did I get any grief?
Yeah.
So the Chimney Hill director, I guess is what he's called,
Oh, yeah.
and the homeowner up there were getting in it heavy, as I explained to him that we weren't gonna keep allowing this to happen. This is the worst it's ever been, but this is the third year in a row that we've been dealing with this one spot, one driveway, one water, and we need to, I explained to him it needs to be rectified. There was a local excavator up there, guy up there, and we looked at options, come up with a good plan, feasible plan. By that time, the director had left, all mad, stormed out of here, and so I need to contact him to see if we can get him to participate and help make this problem go away or not, or if he's gonna be.
You're looking for a contribution? No.
So the homeowner originally, he knows it's a problem too, and he asked Chimney Hill to help buy half of the culvert. He was gonna put it in, have the contractor that was there today was gonna put it all in. All Chimney had to do was pay for 50% of the culvert, not install it, just pay culvert, and they told him absolutely not. They started at it again, and as you know, when people are excited, it's not the time to start trying to talk, so let's go away, problem's gone right this minute. I'll pursue with him to see if he's willing to put some of the culvert bill. The contractor's still willing to put it in. He's a reliable contractor in town, so he's willing to direct the water to a big culvert towards a brook that can take the water and get it away from all the houses. So that way there's, we're helping out more than just our road, we're helping out the whole little community up there in Chimney.
Yeah.
So
I know it's hard, it's hard.
So High Peak Village, just so everyone knows, this is Nick Lombardi out of Connecticut One Source. I hadn't heard that they were completed up there, or they've got a fair amount of work done, but they did replace what he's calling the town culvert. And because that was required by the state for him to do any of the work related to 1,200 feet of water line. And they refurbished the sewer line up there. So they basically have access now to water and sewer up in that area.
Really?
Anyone asks about purchasing things up there. And I don't know anything else more about it, but certainly.
So who controls the line now? Him or was it Cobra?
Culvert fires.
Will they, okay, all right.
And they have one house first.
But they also,
Okay.
did they ever get permission from the Colebrook Fire District to put those houses in? I don't think they ever
I
did.
don't know all
But
this.
they're connected already.
Yeah, they're connected.
All right, okay, well, that's a good thing.
One
That's a
or
good
both
thing.
houses?
I don't know if they're both, one is 100% done, I mean,
Yeah.
carpentry built, done,
Okay,
and the second one, they are working on it, so I'm assuming the second one, water and connect, and sewer's connected too, but it's not.
Yeah.
That house was only a shell.
So they now have access to water, so that was.
that had to be an expensive hookup though. Figuring out
And
far
one other item I'll bring up because Tom just reminded me of it. See if I can find it for you so I get this right. I don't want to get this, I want you to have the right information in time.
Easter egg hunt.
Okay. Oh, Charlie said the astronauts are back.
Yes.
Jesus.
Now they're in town.
You may already know this. There is a national movement that we expect some protesters here in town, probably our local folks,
Oh, mother of Christ. Here we
who
go.
want a peaceful rally. And this is a national event that will take place, I think, on April the 5th. And it's called Hands Off. That's the event. So just so you know, I believe it'll happen nationally. And it'll probably happen in most of the urban areas and other
The
areas.
first day of it's supposed to be.
That's all I have for you tonight.
All right, since there's nothing else for the good of Wilmington, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. I know nobody's opposed to that. You know, like the last protest.